Daddy,
waterfall.
I'm getting
What do you think?
Scary.
too much.
What do you think?
Too much people. Too wobbly.
It is 500 feet of swinging terror.
I don't want to fall.
A suspension bridge that seems barely suspended in air.
Hurry.
Swinging and swaying with the wind and with every movement of the crowd.
We ask that you please do not run, jump, or intentionally shake the bridge. Thank you.
Below, a 230-foot drop to the Capilano River.
My heart is racing.
They say this bridge can hold 100 elephants. But ask some of the people on the bridge at this moment, they're not sure it can even hold them. The bridge starts to sway mostly on each end, not so much in the middle, but when it does sway, you definitely want to be holding on because you can easily lose your balance.
It was so wobbly.
Did you think you were going to fall?
Yes.
What is this thing? Why is it here? And why do more than 1 million tourists traverse it every year in a death-defying display of daring?
Guess what? We have to do it again to get out of here.
It is just part of a labyrinth of bridges in this Canadian nature park that oddly resembles the strange treetop traverses that the Ewoks called home in Return of the Jedi.
And you're not scared of heights.
I am.
You are?
And it's where you should go the next time you're traveling with kids or friends or just yourself and you're headed to Vancouver. It is hard to narrow down the list of coolest things to do in what is arguably one of the coolest cities in all of North America. If you've never been to Vancouver, make a beeline for the place right now. Canada's lifted COVID-19 restrictions for travelers coming from the U.S. You are now free to move about their country. And your first stop in this amazing Great White North should definitely be Vancouver. It is stunning in every single way. Mountains, water, nature, beauty. It checks every single box. Legions of tourists only get to experience a day or two here before boarding a cruise ship and disappearing north to Alaska. But those who schedule an extended stay in this metropolis are in for a real treat. Now, we could argue all day long about what's the coolest thing to do in this part of British Columbia, but the coolest thing we found was when we boarded a bus downtown and took the gorgeous 20-minute drive across Vancouver Harbor, across the Lions Gate Bridge, and arrived at Capilano Suspension Bridge Park. The place is a nod to the beautiful outdoors that surrounds you in every direction in British Columbia, and a nod to the area's indigenous people. When you first enter the park, exhibits and totem poles give you a sense of Vancouver's history and culture. And almost right away, those who are scared of heights are confronted with their biggest fear. There it is in all its swinging glory. The Capilano Suspension Bridge, which has swayed here in one form or another for more than 130 years, calling out to adventure seekers. The feeling's sort of similar to being on a swaying boat, sort of rocking from port to starboard. But you never get the feeling that you're going to fall off and die, so that's good. As early as 1889, this crossing was causing jitters and goosebumps. Made from hemp rope and wooden planks back then, it was reconstructed a few years later with wire cable. In 1956, they rebuilt it again in just 5 days' time, and this is that same bridge that has loomed large over the Capilano River for nearly 70 years now. It is Vancouver's oldest paid attraction and probably the cause of the most anxiety, though they are quick to point out here the bridge is completely safe and virtually impossible to fall from. But none of that offers much relief until you safely make it across.
I mean, the bridge was kind of scary to me, but it was nice.
And then comes the knowledge that you have to traverse it again just to get out of here. The fear factor is quickly abated by the living forest walk that follows on the other side of the canyon. Beautiful boardwalks lining the forest floor where you can learn as much or as little about wildlife as you like, and even get up close and personal with some of the birds that call these trees home. Next up is a bird's eye view of the park and the place that resembles the home of the Ewoks from Return of the Jedi. That labyrinth of small but safe suspension bridges connecting 250-year-old fir trees. Some of these elevated walkways are more than 100 feet in the air, and each of them offers the perfect setting for a selfie. And believe me, your journey will be slowed by a throng of picture takers. If you haven't had enough adventure yet, how about hanging off the side of a cliff? Perhaps the coolest and most exciting thing in this park is the Cliffwalk.
You guys are brave. I'm impressed.
It is a series of slim walkways dangling from the side of rock walls, accessed by wooden stairs encircling the rainforest treetops. Hold on to your phones as you stop for pictures and hang out over a deep canyon.
Oh my Lord.
Are you scared?
The views are unforgettable, the walkway heart-stopping, and the experience exhilarating. If you're scared of heights, well, screw it. You made it this far already. What's a few more white-knuckle moments? It's worth it to take all of this in. There are obviously a bunch of things to see or do here in Vancouver, but if your time's limited and you only have the chance to pick one thing, this is it. Rare is the tourist attraction that will have you talking about it weeks later, bragging to your friends about your bravery.
Almost there.
Remembering all those moments you thought might be your last. But Capilano is one of those places.
They tell you not to do what that guy was just doing. Not supposed to run across it, not supposed to try and purposely make it sway because it makes tourists freak out a little bit. Not good.
And as you navigate that big bridge hanging 250 feet in the sky one last time, you feel invincible, or kind of invincible, knowing that you have conquered your fear of heights in perhaps the most beautiful place possible to do so. Some tips for visiting Capilano. Plan on spending up to 3 hours here. There's lots to see and do. Come in the evening around golden hour. It's the best time to take those pictures you're jonesing to post on Instagram. And be prepared for crowds. The bridges get busy, real busy. At least there's safety in numbers, I think. I hope.